What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. This is top 16 action from the ARG 20K event. You have Jake Phinney versus Fraizer Smith. It looks like Fraizer Smith is playing an artifact variant. I mean, he's playing the hat, but not sure if he's playing hands. He did duality for Career Bandits. There was a BLS. He took Career Bandit. Looks like he sets 3. He's going up against Infernity. I like Infernity in this matchup. He sees a bunch of different cards for the Career Bandit. I'd probably take Ignition just because it's going to be a live card during your next turn. Deep Prison and Bottomless, you both have to set those. Your opponent could have already gone off by then, so I don't really like that. I think, man, Infernity is one of those decks where I'm contemplating playing it because it's almost like Solitaire. Like, it doesn't even matter what your opponent has sometimes. It's just, you're going to do your thing. Looks like he's playing a lure. So, he did get himself an MST and a break. Looks like he's going to banish his Archfiend. He's got break, I believe, launcher, double MST. I'm wondering why he did, why he maybe didn't banish the Stygian Street Patrol. Unless he has like an instant fusion. I see break. I see Launcher, I see Street Patrol. I thought he had double MST, although he does have a monster. He sets 2 in his back row, and I think he set Street Patrol. I guess he just wants it to die. Because, I mean, Infernity is one of those decks where if you can go off, you don't think about it, you just go off. Phinney did go second, so obviously he starts with a card up on Fraizer. Although Fraizer can pretty much nullify that with a simple Myrmilio. And Ignition, I guess, technically is a +1. So, you know, there's that. I saw a lot of people. Why is he shuffling his hand under the table? Okay, I guess it was the back row that he was going to set. So I guess it doesn't matter especially. Now, me personally, if I was Phinney, I think I would have just summoned my... my what's it called? I think, okay, so he blinds MSTs. He hits Artifact Ignition, so he can't attack, which doesn't matter. Did he draw another MST? Okay, I'm either retarded or he's drawing like 5,000 MST. That was a Rhoda, okay. I think I would have summoned Street Patrol and just attacked, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting free shots. If you have Murotech or, what's the other one? If you have Murotech or Bottomless, I'm going to have to deal with them at some point anyway. I might as well get them out the way. If not, then I'm doing 1,600 to the face. And, you know, H.A.T isn't exactly known for playing a lot of back row. Or, excuse me, it's not known for playing a lot of battle traps. So, if I run into a Deep Prison, so be it. You know what I mean? Now, it looks like he summons Getty Knight. And, okay, looks like Getty Knight's going to resolve. Now, again, he has Soul Charge, so we might see an Archfiend dump here. Because... you'd have to think almost certainly he's going to exceed. Probably for Lavable Chain. Maybe some like, well, maybe some like an Heiress to the Graveyard. Okay, so he dumps Street Patrol. Alright, so he's getting his Street Patrols locked and loaded. Again, I believe his face down monster is another Street Patrol that he will flip summon. And it is. So he's probably going to exceed. Again, I think he was probably going to try and exceed into Lavable Chain. Now, the good thing is here, if he uses Soul Charge, it's like he doesn't lose out on his battle phase because he doesn't have it anyway. He used EMST the Ignition, so he doesn't have a battle phase to use anyway. So he might as well use Soul Charge considering he can't do battle damage this turn. He goes for Lavable Chain. And for some of you guys out there who are wondering why am I commentating, I've been listening to the ARG commentary for a good portion of this morning. I think it is awful. It is. People talked about the Konami commentating as if that was bad. I thought that the Konami commentating during Nationals was excellent. I thought Jerome and I can't remember his name, Michael something. You guys know the guy I'm talking about. I think Michael Gerbermeyer. Yeah, I think Jerome McHale and Michael Gerbermeyer did excellent jobs. The ARG commentary, oh my god, it's so unprofessional. They spend so much time talking about pro players and, oh my god, well, Fraizer Smith is playing against some random. Did Fraizer win? Joe Garlando won? He beat some random, like, they, you know, they disrespect people who aren't like critically acclaimed players. They to me it seems like they're always on the dicks of the pro players. I think that Samantha's doing a pretty good job though. Star Strike Duo, she's commentating, so I mean, big ups to her. All right, so anyways, he detaches the Street Patrol. He sends Eris, and Eris gets him the Labyrinth. Not sure why he said it like that, but whatever. It looks like it's in play. And then he just passes turn. Okay, he's not passing turn. When it looked like he was signaling that he was passing turn. Okay, so he is gonna go he is gonna go Street Patrol and Archfiend. I think at this point he'll probably start trying to get traps. I wish Lavalvo Chain. I really want Lavalvo Chain to get reprinted because that's one of the things that keeps. Infernity is like the weirdest deck. Like literally the entire main deck is like 40. Well, not 40. Let's not be dumb now. The entire main deck might run $70, and then Lavalvo Chain itself is like $45 without the Exciton Knights. Is that okay? It's a breakthrough skill. That's actually one of the best things he could have ripped because not only does he search, not only does he not search, but then he can potentially use it on his turn if Jake Phinney tries to make like an Abyss Dweller or something like that to turn off his artifacts. You know what I mean? Like he has ways of stopping that, or turn off his hands. You know what I mean? Now I guess now it looks like they've updated to say Karee Bandit artifact trap tricks and not, you know, hand or whatever. So I guess they took the hands out. Me personally, I don't understand how Karee Bandit helps the deck that much. Like, I don't think that the deck benefits from milling. Okay, you can hit breakthrough skill. That's cool. I mean, I'm drawing a loss here. Like, I'm drawing a blank. I'm not understanding how Karee Bandit is better than Karkar-D. Karkar-D, first off, lets you go +1. They both basically waste your normal summon. Now, one can attack and one can't, obviously. Personally, I'd rather take the +1. The whole deck's concept is about basically just a whole bunch of back row cards. You know what I mean? Now, Fraizer has the Dark Hole, and it looks like he goes plus off of it. And he soul charges. He has a lot of stuff to soul charge for. I mean, I'll give you that. It does make soul charge better. I'll give you that. I think he has double Murotech in there, right? Okay, that's one Murotech. Dianera. Karee Bandit. So it goes 3. Can't make anything with them. I guess he only has one Murotech. That's my mistake. And he's going to reset Bottomless. So that will kind of keep Jake Phinney at bay for a turn, basically. I'm not sure that Jake Phinney is going to want to basically. I don't think that Jake Phinney is going to want to use his own soul charge, knowing that Fraizer has Bottomless that's free for a turn, but then will eventually it's just going to evaporate. Like it's just going to remove itself. Now, I believe Karee Bandit is only when it's normal summon, so obviously he couldn't activate the effect. That would be stupid if it wasn't. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, why not get it? Because it's just an extra body. So I definitely would have recommended paying 1,000 to get that. Oh, right. So it looks like Jake is going to go ahead and he's going to go ahead and he's going to play Soul Charge regardless. I mean, he has some. Oh, never mind. There he is. He looks like he's going to MST the Bottomless. So I guess he's going to push through. I thought he drew MST. He's been drawing a lot of MSTs. I mean, even if he didn't MST the Bottomless, he could go Armageddon Knight. That gets under Bottomless. Eris gets under Bottomless. And then Archfiend triggers regardless. So, you know, like, he had ways of kind of playing around the Bottomless, but he wouldn't have been able to XC up. Well, I mean, he could have, but it would have gotten Bottomless, I guess. So, Fraizer's checking out his graveyard. I guess he's trying to figure out what cards Jake Phinney has expended. Now, I'd imagine he's going to try and activate both effects. He's going to try and activate the Archfiend and the Armageddon Knight. Now, keep in mind, Fraizer does still have what's that card? Don't draw a blank. He still does have Artifact Ignition to potentially counter an Infernity Launcher. if need be. But Jake Phinney hasn't committed his normal, so he could. There's nothing stopping him from getting Necromancer, going into X-C, and basically just going Diamond Dire Wolf, trying to pop back rows, because he knows that he can Necromancer Archfiend back anyway, and then he can tag out the Necromancer for another Archfiend. And it looks like he's gonna do what I was just talking about, at the very least. And he's gonna activate Armageddon Knight's Dump. That gets the third Stygian Street Patrol. And wait, actually, he would well, he'd have a bunch of options, because he'd be able to either tag out Necromancer for Labyrinth, or he could X-C into Leviair using Eris. So the options are there. The monsters on Fraizer's field are irrelevant. None of them count. You might as well just don't even think about them. The monsters won't be hard to get through. The back row is going to be what's hard to get through for Jake Phinney. That's how Infernity works. You fight the back row first, then you worry about the monsters. You do not. It's the exact. It's basically the same exact concept. No, wait, I'm sorry. It's the opposite concept of Insectors. Insectors fight your monsters first, and then they worry about your back row later. They basically pop your monsters, and then they say, okay, well, if any of your back rows are bluffs, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Alright, so he goes for 101, looking to get rid of Artifact Murotech. I mean, he can get rid of either monster, really, the Murotech or the Dianara. I'm a little surprised he isn't going harder at the back row, though. I thought Diamond Direwolf might have been a good play, but I guess he feels like he knows one of the 3 cards to be Ignition, so if he hits that, obviously his opponent will chain, and then he'll lose his Labyrinth and his Diamond Direwolf for naught. So I guess that there's an option, or there might be an option why he's not playing that, or why he's not doing that. And then I guess there's a small possibility that he could actually hit. No, wait, I'm sorry. What am I thinking? He blind MST'd the Artifact Ignition. I'm sorry. He doesn't have to worry about that. What am I thinking? I am completely on some other stuff right now. Alright, so let's go back to the play at hand. Fraizer is checking out his graveyard. Obviously, Jake is... I mean, he's putting Fraizer's Murotech in danger right now. That thing's going to get absorbed like hella quick. Unless Fraizer has, like, a Nightmare, an evac, he can activate evac before it has the ability, or before it has a chance to activate its effect. Fraizer's going to check out his own graveyard now. Not many monsters in there, I'd imagine. I think he soul charged them all back. By the way, both players have only taken damage through soul charge. Neither player has actually done any attacking this entire game, which is why, maybe Jake could have attacked on his first turn with that Street Patrol, done 1,600 damage. He would have had Fraizer sitting at 3,400. I don't know if that's going to become relevant later in the game, but whatever. Alright, so he's activating that effect of 101. I'm guessing he's going to target Murotech because, the Dianara can't attack over 101. So it's just kind of dead meat, just sitting there on the field. Not like he can attack this turn anyway, but, Okay, so what is he going to target? Sometimes these real-life duels tend to be a little slower with some of your higher caliber players. They're known for, taking longer with their turns, doing a lot of fidgety things. You're seeing that basically in action. Sometimes you'll see people try and read cards that I believe that they know what they do. Like if Fraizer started reading 101 right now, I'd be like, what are you doing, man? Alright, so Murotech goes down. And I'd still be a little scared right now if I was Jake Phinney. Because, I mean, Torrential is a possibility, man. Even if he doesn't Torrential, you know what I mean? A Nightmare would be kind of clutch here. I can't make out that card. Is that Nightmare? I believe that was Nightmare. I couldn't completely make out that card. Oh, Infernity Launcher. Wow. I think Jake just slow rolled him. Okay, so obviously he gets back Archfiend and Necromancer. And if he has another Archfiend in there, he's golden. He should be picking up a break or a barrier right now. Alright, so he picks up a break. I still want to play Infernity. I just feel like I'm basically going against everything that I've ever stood for as a duelist. Like I am at heart a control player, and Infernity is like the most anti-control deck ever. But again, turning 5 cards into 10, that's just, oh man. I felt like Infernity took another step when Soul Charge came out. I said it the first time I saw Soul Charge. I said all it is more copies of Launcher. It's basically like having Launcher at 4. Actually, it's better than that. I think I said that verbatim too. So he's got some decisions here. I don't think that he has any more Archfiends in his deck or in his graveyard. So I mean, he can Exceed right here into Levier. He can tag that. Okay, he's going to Exceed. I was going to say he can tag out the Necromancer for Paralabyrinth. I mean, he's got options. And worst case scenario, he already has a break. It's live because he can banish the Launcher. Fraizer has no hand, by the way. I mean that literally and figuratively. He has no Fire Hand, Ice Hand, and he also has no hand to play with. Okay, so you're going to see... Oh, Lord, he just summoned back an Archfiend from Levier. This is really, really, really bad. Because now he's probably going to get a second break. And, again, he can still trade out an Archfiend for another copy of an Archfiend. Now, I do have this on mute. I really hope Jake Phinney is not reading his own Labyrinth. Okay, so it looks like he's going to activate Labyrinth. I mean, Infernity is not one of those decks that you should be trying to play for the first time in a 20K event. I mean, you should pretty much know this deck inside and out. And, you know, sometimes you got to stop and just look at certain things and be like, all right, just got to make sure I do everything right. He does get that barrier. Now he can Exceed. He can go for the full shebang, but that would turn off his barrier, so I don't think he'd want to do that. I mean, he already has a barrier for the draw, and he has the 2 cards on field covered with breaks. I mean, I wouldn't blind break here because I don't want to hit an artifact Murotech and, you know, potentially screw myself up. Not to mention his Archfiends can beat over Murotech right now, so Murotech's really not that big of a threat. But I really don't see Fraizer winning this game because anything that Jake plays, anything that Jake draws is, I mean, it's still live. So he is going to use Break on the back row, the card that he just said. Hopefully it's not Ignition, or excuse me, Ignition or Sanctum. I don't think either one would win Fraizer the game though. I think that Jake is mounted. I think that Fraizer is on borrowed time. They both have the same amount of life points. I think that that's going to change immediately the second that Jake enters the battle phase. Not to mention that Levier is super live. Okay, so we see a wiretap. Yeah, I would definitely let my break get wiretap because as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to search it again this turn anyway. Yeah, I think so. He uses another break to target the card. It's Artifact Ignition. He can't attack this turn. Wow, that was huge. I think Jake got caught fishing there. I really think he just got caught fishing. He was trying so hard to get rid of that one card, but again, you always have to remember that Ignition and Sanctum can be set, so he can't actually attack this turn. He can't do any damage. Unless I've misinterpreted the situation incorrectly. Is he trying to barrier the effect? And it looks like he's going to break the last card. I think Jake is spending a little too many cards right here. Alright, well anyways, it works out because Fraizer scoops it up. Jake put in. I personally think that H.A.T is a deck that needs cards. Necro Valley, Career Bandit, set 2. I really don't like this opening. Murotech, Solemn Warning, Breakthrough Skill, and Pot of Duality. Okay, so you milled 2 Murotechs, so I don't know. Is Ignition plus Sanctum, like, are they both live now? Because if you don't have any monsters in your grave, or if you don't have any artifacts left, then I don't think that you can use what's it called. I don't think that you can use ignition. Like right now, let's say he has ignition and sanctum both set. I mean, obviously that's highly unlikely, but let's say he draws one, then you can't use both cards. So I just don't get what Career Bandit adds to the deck. He takes Solemn Warning. Like right now, do you understand how easy this is for Jake Phinney to crack this board, especially with 6 cards? Like, I mean, I get it. He can't use Soul Charge. That's cool. He just drew a Soul Charge. He can't use what do you call that guy? He can't use Street Patrol. It's cool, but I mean, technically, he can just win through fucking beatdown. He could just go Monk, Archfiend, attack, 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 attack. Like he could just literally win through beatdown, and then your Solemn Warning is like, okay, what's that doing? You know, I'm not really, you know, saying that Fraizer chose bad cards. I don't like H.A.T going first. I don't like Career Bandit in the deck. I don't feel like it adds anything. Now Fraizer is sitting on they got him at 10,000, so he played double upstart apparently. And I believe Jake Phinney, I mean, he set a monster, set 2 back row. I think that could be the Necromancer. Alright, looks like he's going to activate Career Bandit again. By the way, he can't use Dianera either. So, there's that. And wait a minute, can you, like, oh man, I just thought about something. If you, like, your artifacts hit the graveyard, I mean, nah, it's by their own effect. So, okay, I guess they can summon themselves by their own effect. I know that Dianera can't be used because of Necro Valley. He sees Ignition, Dark Hole. Those are only 2 cards he can get. I'd consider getting Dark Hole just because I would hope my Necro Valley can take me the rest of the way. Now Jake sees he has Archfiend and Necro and Dark Grepher in his hand. If I'm him, I'm summoning Grepher and I'm just attacking. Alright, Trap Stun. So never mind, scratch that. Looks like he's gonna try and go off. He still does need to technically get around Necro Valley. Okay, so he's going to pitch with Grepher. No Book of Moons or anything like that, apparently. For Street Patrol. Now, he can't banish, so what's he going to do? Oh, he flip summons another Street Patrol. This could be GG. Because he can easily make Diamond Direwolf and pop the Necro Valley. And he has Soul Charge in his hand. And he has he'll have 2 Street Patrols engraved, so obviously he'll be able to clear out his hand. He'll be able to get that extra summon. Okay, so he has Artifact Ignition. I guess he's going to target his own monster. It's Beg Attack. Oh, okay, so he had Beg Attack, so it was never really a problem for Mar Attack. Oh, this might actually clinch him the game. Okay, so Beg Attack, Mar Attack both come out. And Street Patrol, I would think, I'm wondering, like, I get that you can summon artifacts under Necro Valley, but, well, yeah, I guess they're all summoned by their own effects, so. Even if Muratek is sent to the graveyard by Begatek's effect, Muratek's effect is summoning itself out of the graveyard. It's not, you know, it's not Begatek's effect summoning it out of the graveyard. Muratek itself is. This could be GG for Fraizer. I mean, or for Jake Phinney. I mean, Fraizer just completely turned the tables with that play. Because essentially, one of those monsters will die. I would be inclined to leave the, I'd be inclined to leave the Street Patrol on board. Now, if Jake Phinney had like a, you know, instant fusion, it'd be different. But let's see what's going to happen here. Okay, so he's going to leave the Street Patrol on board just because Street Patrol could be a bigger threat in the graveyard than Grepher could ever be. And that's unfortunate because we assume that that set card is Solemn Warning. He passes turn. At this point, it seems pretty elementary. Just make Polites and just wreck face. You know what I mean? Make Polites, attack, attack, attack. Knowing that you got Solemn Warning to pretty much back you up. You have card advantage right now. So, I mean, you should be in a really good position. Looks like he's going to go summon something. The only way that this could get better for Fraizer is if he had Myrmilio. Now again, I don't think that he actually made that much. I don't think that he actually made that much headway using those Kree Bandits. I don't think that card did anything for him, not at all, because I don't think that hat takes advantage of milling unless you're playing like 3 Dianara, which okay, that I can understand. But then if you're playing Necro Valley, then that kind of like defeats the purpose. You know what I mean? So it looks like he's just content going straight into beatdown mode. Okay, we see a first attack. He'll eat 100 damage. He's going to deprison the, yeah, it looks like he's going to deprison the Artifact Marotech. And he'll probably eat 1,400 more. Fraizer walls up with 2 more back row. Did he just fucking draw MST? I think that he just drew MST. Now, this could be an epic MST. If he goes normal summon Necromancer. Okay, so he's going to MST. Play that Necromancer first before you Soul Charge, because your Soul Charge will get warninged. Alright, so it looks like he's going to use the effect of Street Patrol on Necromancer. Obviously, he doesn't want to potentially get hit with Breakthrough Skill and be like, if he gets hit with Breakthrough Skill and gets stuck in attack mode, that'd be bad. So he's going to activate the effect. Now, obviously, he's targeting his Archfiend. Now, I think here, if your opponent doesn't warn your Necromancer, I think that you just get Archfiend. I think you get a break, and I think you attack. I don't think that you go for the Soul Charge play. That's my opinion. Because I feel like I can get one of your monsters off board, plus I can get my free search anyway. Your Solemn Warning cannot counter a break, so plus you still have to get rid of my Necromancer and my Archfiend. I don't feel like you should use the Soul Charge until you absolutely have to. Your back is against the wall. I feel like you take the advantage first. That's just me. Plus you're on 4950, so I mean, if you can keep your life points as high as possible, I would recommend that. But I mean, we're gonna see what Jake does. I believe that Fraizer is content on letting him activate the Necromancer effect. Okay, maybe not. Plus, he still would get his battle phase too. I feel like that's important because he can get rid of both of those monsters with a simple Archfiend attack. Okay, Fraizer, what are you doing? Oh no, I'm sorry. Fraser's thinking about the warning, obviously. Alright, so he does use the warning. Now is where you come over the top. Now is when you come over the top with Soul Charge, or excuse me, Skill Charge. You definitely have to choose Necromancer because you don't want your shit getting blown up by what's it called. He goes for 3. I probably would have went for 4, but that's just me. He's gonna activate. Now you know what? 3's fine because he can get Infernity Launcher anyway. So there really isn't that much. He doesn't want to lose to like a potential top deck Draco, not Draco set. A potential Heartland Draco, like his opponent top decks Dianara, makes Heartland Draco, has like Wiretap or something, some BS. So, you know, yeah, why potentially lose to that when you can get Artifact or you can get Infernity Launcher? I was going to say Artifact Launcher, that'd be crazy, right? Summon back 2 artifacts from your graveyard. That'd be crazy. Yeah, I feel like you can get Launcher back, and if your opponent has an MST for the Launcher, you're still in good shape because obviously you can exceed using Dark Grepher and what's it called? You can use Dark Grepher and Archfiend you can blow up a card in the back row, and then you can still use Necromancer's effect. So I feel like that. I feel like he's in really good position. This shows you that Yu-Gi-Oh right now is the life points are really not. They're not like what's imperative. You know what I mean? I'd even consider getting Archfiend's Labyrinth. You know what I mean? But no, I guess Launcher is like the best choice here. But I mean, that's not up for me. That's not for me to decide. That's for Jake. I just think if he hasn't used Launcher, it's just a legitimate backup plan. Alright, so he gets Necromancer. That's fine too. I think that we are going to see a Diamond Dire Wolf to try and pop a back row. He was looking at Master Key Beetle. I mean, I guess there's a potential that he could try and get that card. Some people are saying he should make Excite Knight. I mean, that's an option. You know, if it gets blown up, it's not like he doesn't have double Necromancer anyway. Excite Knight would take out the, you know what? I guess technically, is there really a difference between making Diamond Dire Wolf and Excite Knight? I guess Excite Knight is better because Excite Knight, it does the same thing. It blows up the monsters too. And he has not normal summoned either. So, okay, he goes for Excite Knight. And looks like he's going to get blown up. Okay. Fraizer is obviously thinking about what he's going to do here. I think that Jake has. I don't think that he's going to lose this duel. I think that Fraizer's monsters are irrelevant right now. He'll have to spend his back row cards on the monsters or he's going to lose them. You know what I mean? That's what Infernity does really well. They summon monsters like Diamond Dire Wolf and Exciton Knights to where you either have to respond with your back row or you're going to lose your cards. So it's just a win-win for them. Even if he would Blackhorn right now, it'd be like Jake Phinney wouldn't care. He'd just, you know, get his Archfiend back and he'd get a break and he'd keep it moving. You know what I mean? So he is going to activate Excite Knight's effect. And either the field's going to get nuked or Fraizer's going to respond. There's no in-between. And if the field gets nuked, Fraizer will obviously still have 8. He'll have 8,000 life points. Okay, so he chooses to activate Breakthrough Skill. Now, the one card that could technically save him would be Torrential Tribute right now. That is the one card I could see that could save his life. Alright, so he normal summons his Necromancer, turns it to defense. He uses Necromancer's effect. I could see him getting a launcher because he should be able to extend the Levier, get his Street Patrol back, make another rank 4, blow up the back row, and then play launcher from there. Yeah, that works. That works. I definitely think that works. And he can keep launcher in his hand the entire time, so it's a safe play. That's just my opinion. Now, again, I'm not an Infernity player. I've played against the deck numerous times with Bujins, so I like to think that I know some of the optimal plays. I want to see if he does that play like exactly how I said he should do it. Okay, I guess he's going. He gets Archfiend instead of launcher. And I mean that's fine, I guess. It's still, you know what? That's fine. It's still the same ends. He can still take this Necromancer, combine it with this Necromancer, right? He goes for Street Patrol using Levier's effect. Street Patrol hits the deck. You make Diamond Dire Wolf. You pop the back row, and then you can banish the Street Patrol, and you can summon the Archfiend in your hand. So it's all good in the hood. He still has the same basic play. You know what I mean? All right. So he does go for the Levier. He's gonna detach. And at any point, if his play gets disrupted, he still knows that he's in good shape. I mean, really, all he needs right now is to just kind of get his Street Patrol in the graveyard. Like I said, the monsters really aren't going to do that much damage. The only way Fraizer can win is pretty much top decking a Dianara. But as long as he gets a break to cover the Dianara, he's good. Now Jake Phinney's looking at his extra deck. Don't overcomplicate this, Jake. You know you want to make... I don't like that play. Alright, he goes for 101. He takes Dianara. I guess he doesn't want him potentially... To be honest, I don't know. I don't understand why he did that. Okay, so he takes MegaCapitalG instead. I mean, I feel like even if the back row is a Muratech, it doesn't really matter. Because you still have Archfiend in your hand. You go Archfiend, and then you get Launcher, and then it's just like, you know, it's a wrap. Because I mean, once I got your back row cleared, bro, all I have to do is get him. All I have to do is get in front of you, break, and I know that you can't stop me. With him having, if he searches break right now or whatever, let's say that Fraizer has like a wiretap set, you know what I mean? He could still actually come back. It'd be hard as hell, but it'd be feasible. It's possible, I guess. So Jake Phinney is going to activate his Archfiend. Now the one good thing about Fraizer's or Jake's field is that Dianara can't get over anything on Jake Phinney's board. Not nothing. Now I wonder what he's looking at now. I would never feel completely at ease if I'm playing Infernity until my opponent has no cards in their back row. When you have no cards in your back row, that means I can get Barrier and I can get Break. I can set them, and I know that you can't do anything against them, especially Break. If you're playing H.A.T, I mean, I guess you can summon Fire Hand or whatever, but outside of that, you know what I mean? So he just gets a Barrier, and he passes. I don't think that was the most optimal play that he could have done. That's just my opinion. Fraizer drew his card. He's obviously looking for Dianara. Or Dark Hole. He flips over Dark Hole. And he barriers it. Is that Dianara? Ah, okay, never mind. He scooped. Now you do see again why that was a mistake that Jake did that, right? Because what if Fraizer would have top decked Dianara? He could have baited out the barrier with the Dark Hole, then went Dianara, then he could have made his own X that night, and he just would have torched the field, and Jake would have lost. Like he should have went in Diamond Direwolf and blew up the back row. I'm wondering if they're saying that. Let's just see what they're saying.
I'm pretty sure he sided it out.
He's probably excited to realize how it could.
You can't afford to open in your open.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about. Okay, guys, so thank you for watching. I'll probably continue uploading more of these matches. Hopefully they're good competitive matches. It looks like Infernity is a strong contender to win this event. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Check out my Kickstarter. Help me get the equipment that I so desperately want. Every $1 or $2 helps. Thank you guys for watching as always.